Jonathan Livingston Seagull by Richard Bach is a novella that delves deep into the philosophical themes of individuality, self-perfection, and transcendence. Through the journey of Jonathan, a seagull who is passionate about flying, Bach explores profound ideas that resonate with readers seeking meaning beyond the ordinary. This video will explore 6 key philosophical themes present within the book, with a relatively detailed analysis and some supporting quotes. So the first philosophical idea that we're going to look at is individualism and self-discovery. Jonathan's story begins with his dissatisfaction with the mundane, repetitive life of the flock. Unlike his peers, who are content with merely scavenging for food, Jonathan is driven by a need to discover his true self and capabilities. He sees flying not just as a means of survival, but as an art to be perfected and a passion to be pursued. This drive sets him on a path of individualism and self-discovery, challenging the status quo and seeking a deeper understanding of his potential. So we're going to look at a quote from the novella that I believe highlights and exemplifies the ideas of individualism and self-discovery. Don't believe what your eyes are telling you. All they show you is limitation. Look with your understanding. Find out what you already know and you'll see the way to fly. This quote exemplifies Jonathan's journey of self-discovery. It suggests that true understanding comes from looking beyond surface-level perceptions and trusting your inner knowledge, your own inner knowledge, rather. Jonathan's pursuit of flight is a metaphor for the human quest to realize our potential. His journey is about finding and embracing his true identity, even if it means going against societal norms and expectations. This philosophical theme resonates with the idea that individualism involves a deep and personal journey of understanding who we are beyond the limitations imposed by society. Next we have another quote which I feel also highlights the concepts of individualism and self-discovery. We can lift ourselves out of ignorance. We can find ourselves as creatures of excellence and intelligence and skill. Here Jonathan recognizes the potential within all individuals to rise above ignorance and discover their true nature as beings of excellence. This reinforces the idea that self-discovery is a process of uncovering the inherent capabilities and intelligence within yourself, a journey that requires introspection and determination. Jonathan's journey from ignorance to knowledge mirrors the classic hero's journey, where the protagonist must first understand himself before he can achieve his goals. And the final quote that we're going to look at that is relates to individualism and self-discovery is, "The goal sees farthest who flies highest." This metaphorical statement encapsulates the philosophy that the pursuit of higher goals and self-discovery leads to greater understanding and wisdom. Jonathan's higher flights symbolize his his quest for deeper knowledge and self-awareness, suggesting that individualism is about striving to reach your highest potential. This pursuit of higher understanding often means distancing yourself from the flock, both physically and metaphorically, to gain a broader perspective. So now that we've had a look at the concept of individualism and self-discovery as it exists within the book, we are going to move on to the concept of perfection and self-improvement. Throughout the novella, Jonathan is relentless in his pursuit of perfecting his flying skills. This theme of self-improvement is central to the narrative, illustrating the importance of striving for excellence in your own personal endeavours. Jonathan's journey is characterized by a series of trials and errors, successes and failures, all of which contribute to his growth and mastery of flight. His dedication to improving himself reflects the broader human aspiration to transcend our current abilities and achieve something greater. So our first quote that I feel really speaks to the idea of perfection and self-improvement is, "You have the freedom to be yourself, your true self, here and now, and nothing can stand in your way." This quote highlights the essence of self-improvement, embracing your true self and continuously working towards your own goals. Jonathan's determination to master flight symbolizes the universal pursuit of perfection and self-betterment. His journey is not just about achieving physical excellence, but also about pushing the boundaries of what is possible. Jonathan's dedication to self-improvement reflects the broader human aspiration to transcend our current abilities and achieve something greater. It also emphasizes the belief that personal growth is a lifelong process that requires perseverance, dedication, and a willingness to challenge yourself. Our next quote is, "We choose our next world through what we learn in this one. Learn nothing and the next world will be the same as this one, all the same limitations and lead weights to overcome." This quote underscores the importance of continuous learning and self-improvement. It suggests that our efforts to grow and learn in this life shape our future experiences. Jonathan's relentless pursuit of flying excellence is a metaphor for the ongoing process of learning and self-betterment, highlighting that each step of improvement builds the foundation for future growth. It also implies that without continuous self-improvement, you remain stagnant and bound by the same limitations. So our next quote that we're going to look at is, "He was not bone and feather, but a perfect idea of freedom and flight, limited by nothing at all." This quote reflects Jonathan's realization that his essence is not defined by his physical form, but by his spirit and aspirations. It emphasizes the philosophical idea that true perfection and self-improvement are about transcending physical limitations and embracing your boundless potential. Jonathan's journey teaches that self-improvement is not merely physical, but also a deep spiritual and intellectual journey towards understanding your true nature. So that was the idea of perfection and self-improvement. There is a great deal more in the novella on this, and actually all the other philosophical themes that we're going to cover. For a short book, it contains a great deal in a small number of words. It is truly a masterpiece, in my opinion. So the next idea that we're going to look at is transcendence and higher planes of existence. As Jonathan masters the art of flight, he experiences a transformation that leads him to a higher plane of existence. This transcendence is not just physical, but also spiritual. Jonathan's journey from the physical world to higher planes symbolizes the quest for spiritual enlightenment and the realization of deeper truths about existence. His experiences suggest that true mastery involves not only physical skills, but also a profound understanding of the metaphysical aspects of life. So the first quote that we're going to look at regarding transcendence is my favourite quote from any book in human history. So I often relay this quote at any given opportunity because I love this one and it speaks to me in ways that are deeply profound and moving. "You will begin to touch heaven, Jonathan, in the moment that you touch perfect speed. And that isn't flying 1,000 miles an hour or 1,000,000 or flying at the speed of light, because any number is a limit and perfection doesn't have limits. Perfect speed, my son, is being there." This quote captures the novella's philosophical view on transcendence. Perfection is depicted as a state of being rather than like a numerical achievement. Jonathan's journey to touch heaven symbolizes the spiritual enlightenment that comes from transcending physical and mental limitations. The concept of perfect speed as being there suggests that true enlightenment is not about external achievement, but about a state of inner peace and understanding. This theme underscores the idea that transcendence involves a profound shift in consciousness and perception, leading to a deeper connection with the universe and your true self. Our next quote that we're going to look at is quite a short one, but there's a lot of meat on these bones. Heaven is not a place, and it is not a time. Heaven is being perfect. This quote further elaborates on the theme of transcendence, suggesting that heaven is a state of being rather than a physical location or future promise. Jonathan's realization that perfection and enlightenment are states of consciousness highlights the spiritual dimension of his journey, encouraging readers to seek inner fulfillment and transcendence. It suggests that true happiness and fulfillment are found within, rather than in external achievements or locations. So now we're going to look at a final quote that I believe speaks to the ideas of transcendence and higher planes of existence. Your whole body, from wingtip to wingtip, is nothing more than your thought itself, in a form that you can see. Break the chains of your thought and you break the chains of your body too. This quote emphasizes the power of the mind in achieving transcendence. Jonathan's understanding that his physical form is a manifestation of his thoughts suggests that true freedom and transcendence come from breaking mental limitations. It underscores the philosophical idea that our perceptions and beliefs shape our reality, and by changing our thoughts we can transcend physical and mental constraints. Jonathan's journey teaches that liberation is a mental process and true transcendence is achieved by altering one's mindset. So now we are going to have a look at the ideas of freedom and liberation as they are presented within the novella. Jonathan's quest for flight represents a deeper yearning for freedom, both physical and spiritual. His liberation from the confines of ordinary seagull life mirrors the human desire for freedom from societal constraints. Jonathan's journey is a powerful metaphor for breaking free from the limitations imposed by external authorities and internal doubts. His pursuit of freedom is not just about physical flight, but also about the liberation of spirit and mind. The first quote we are going to look at that speaks to the idea of freedom and liberation is as follows. The only true law is that which leads to freedom. There is no other. Now, before we analyse that, I just want you to linger on that for a moment, because there's a lot of unspoken depth to that very short statement. So I'm gonna say that again. The only true law is that which leads to freedom. There is no other. So this quote underscores the novel's advocacy for personal freedom. Jonathan's flight symbolises breaking free from restrictions and embracing your true nature, suggesting that the ultimate law is one that fosters freedom and growth. Jonathan's journey is about discovering and embracing his true nature, which involves casting aside any beliefs, rituals, or limitations that hinder his freedom. This theme highlights the importance of, self-liberation and the courage to pursue your own path, even in the face of opposition and misunderstanding. It also, I believe, reflects the broader philosophical idea that true freedom comes from within and is about living authentically and fully, something that is in line with the existentialist school of thought. So our next quote is, again, it's something that I believe speaks to freedom and liberation, and it's super short. It is right for a gull to fly. This simple yet profound statement encapsulates the natural right to freedom and self-expression. Jonathan's assertion that it is right for a gull to fly emphasizes the inherent freedom that should be available to every individual. It suggests that freedom is a fundamental aspect of your nature and being, and that any limitations imposed by society or internal fears should be challenged and overcome. This statement implies that individuals should follow their true nature and desires, rather than conforming to the forces of external expectations. So our final quote on freedom and liberation is, we can start working from... I'll try that again. We can start working with time if you wish, Jonathan, till you can fly past the future. I did that wrong again. Let me try that again. Sorry, I'm stuttering and stumbling a lot today. I can't help it, but here we are. We can start working with time if you wish, Jonathan, till you can fly the past and the future. Then you will be ready to begin the most difficult, the most powerful, and the most fun of all. You will be ready to fly up and know the meaning of kindness and love. Now that quote, although as it turns out was difficult for me to actually say, with me stuttering, but that quote, there's I believe anyway, there's a lot of beauty to that quote. But more than that, this quote highlights the ultimate goal of Jonathan's quest for freedom, transcending time and understanding the deeper meaning of kindness and love. It suggests that true liberation involves not only physical freedom, but also the ability to move beyond temporal constraints and connect with universal values. Jonathan's journey reflects the idea that freedom is a multifaceted concept that encompasses, I guess both could work. Encompasses physical, mental, and spiritual dimensions. This quote also implies that the journey towards freedom includes understanding and embodying deeper values such as kindness and love. So now we're going to look at another idea that is found quite frequently throughout the novella Jonathan Livingston Seagull, and that is teaching and sharing knowledge. After achieving his own enlightenment, Jonathan takes the role of teacher, sharing his knowledge and helping other seagulls to achieve their potential. This theme emphasizes the importance of mentorship, guidance, and the sharing of wisdom as essential aspects of personal and communal growth. Jonathan's journey comes full circle as he transitions from student to teacher, reflecting the idea that true mastery involves helping others achieve their own enlightenment. So the first quote we're going to look at that exemplifies this is, he spoke of very simple things, that it is right for a gull to fly, that freedom is the very nature of being, that whatever stands against the freedom must be set aside, be it ritual or superstition or limitation in any form. So this quote highlights the importance of sharing knowledge and guiding others. Jonathan's teaching emphasizes the inherent right to freedom and self-expression, advocating for the removal of any barriers to these fundamental truths. Let me try that again. His role as a teacher reflects the idea that the highest form of achievement is to help others achieve their own enlightenment. This theme underscores the interconnectedness of individual and collective growth, suggesting that true fulfillment involves not only personal success, but also contributing to the success and liberation of others. Jonathan's teachings are simple yet profound, focusing on the fundamental principles of freedom and self-expression. And next we have a quote that is very short and on the surface could be seen to be somewhat banal, but we're gonna get into it. And that quote is really short and simple. Keep working on love. So this succinct, I guess would be a good word. This succinct advice from Jonathan to his students encapsulates the essence of his teachings. It suggests that the ultimate goal of enlightenment and self-improvement is to understand and practice love. Jonathan's emphasis on love as a fundamental aspect of his teachings highlights the importance of compassion, empathy, and connection in the process of personal and communal growth. This advice reflects the idea that true enlightenment involves not only personal mastery, but also the cultivation of loving and supportive relationships. Our final quote that we are going to look at with regards to teaching and sharing knowledge. You will begin... we have actually looked at this before, only moments ago, when we looked at the idea of transcendence and higher planes of existence. But nonetheless, we are going to go over it again, but this is going to be from the perspective of teaching and sharing knowledge. You will begin to touch heaven, Jonathan, in the moment that you touch perfect speed. And that isn't flying 1,000 miles an hour, or 1,000,000, or at the speed of light. Because any number is a limit, and perfection doesn't have limits. Perfect speed, my son, is being there. This quote serves as both teaching and a revelation for Jonathan. It emphasizes that true mastery involves understanding and experiencing the essence of being rather than merely achieving physical feats. Jonathan's role as teacher involves guiding his students to this profound realization, helping them to transcend their perceived limitations and reach their full potential. This teaching highlights the importance of understanding deeper truths and the essence of being in the pursuit of mastery, and it also highlights the circular nature of it, because there is, as I touched on before, there is this idea that Jonathan has come full circle. He's gone from being student to master. So the revelations in his journey as a student are equally as important as guidance when he is sharing his knowledge and guiding the next generation, as it were. So the next idea we're going to look at, and actually final idea that we're going to look at within the novella of Jonathan Livingston Seagull, is the idea of rejection and acceptance. Jonathan, as a seagull, lives, as you can probably tell, a fairly unconventional life for a seagull. And his unconventional ways initially lead to his rejection by the flock. However, his perseverance eventually earns him the acceptance and admiration of the flock, reflecting the often challenging journey of innovation and progress. Jonathan's experiences illustrate the difficulty of challenging established norms and the potential for the eventual recognition and ultimately acceptance. His journey highlights the resilience required to stay true to your vision despite external opposition. So the first quote that we're going to look at on this topic, on the idea of rejection and acceptance, is: they were honoured, and their honour had become a cage. For in none of their thoughts had they found freedom to forget their responsibility to the flock. This quote illustrates the conflict between societal acceptance and personal freedom. The flock's honour bound by tradition and responsibility, contrasts with Jonathan's liberated spirit. It highlights the tension between conforming to societal expectations and pursuing individual personal aspirations. Jonathan's rejection by the flock represents the initial resistance that innovators and nonconformists often face. However, his eventual acceptance and the admiration he garners reflect the potential for societal change and the eventual recognition of new ideas and ways of being. So essentially, the idea is that Jonathan is like way out there. He is he's essentially a social outcast because his personal goals and his aspirations aren't the same, or at least on the surface don't seem to be in line with that of the flock. But Jonathan's journey helps Jonathan understand how he can achieve those aspirations and how he can become part of the flock again without sacrificing his sort of true self. And it also shows the idea that innovation is, in a sense, it's infectious. When it's seen, when it's witnessed, and the benefits of it are seen by the flock, so to speak, then the flock starts to move towards that rather than you having to move towards the flock. So the first quote that we're going to look at is a really quite simple statement. And so I just said the first quote there, then, didn't I? I actually meant the second quote. So let me try that again. The second quote we're going to look at is the idea that is very short, and it covers this idea that rejection and acceptance are essentially essential parts of life in many regards. So yeah, the quote is, Jonathan Livingston Seagull was no ordinary bird. So this statement underscores Jonathan's uniqueness and the challenges he faces as a nonconformist. So his uniqueness isn't just how he feels himself, it's the perception of him. He feels different to the flock, and the flock feels different to him. His journey reflects the struggles and triumph of individuals who dare to challenge the status quo and pursue their own path. Jonathan's eventual recognition by the flock symbolizes the transformative impact that innovation and courageous individuals can have on society. It suggests that those who are willing to challenge the norms and follow their passions can inspire and lead others to do so. So the final quote that we're going to look at is, it also exemplifies the ideas of rejection and acceptance. For each of them, the most important thing in living was to reach out and touch perfection in a way that they most loved to do, and that was to be found in flying. So this quote reflects the broader acceptance of Jonathan's philosophy by other seagulls who come to understand and appreciate his vision. It highlights the shift from rejection to acceptance as more individuals recognize the value of pursuing their passions and striving for excellence. Jonathan's journey underscores the idea that persistence in the face of adversity can lead to societal change and the eventual acceptance of new ideas. It suggests that true leadership involves inspiring others to pursue their own paths and embrace their passions. So yeah, that's the 6 ideas from Jonathan Livingston Seagull that we've looked at today. And Jonathan Livingston Seagull, beyond being my favourite book of all time, it is a profound exploration of the human spirit's quest for self-discovery, perfection, and transcendence. Through Jonathan's journey, Richard Bach encourages readers to embrace their individuality, strive for continuous self-improvement, seek higher truths, and share their knowledge with others. This novella serves as a timeless reminder of the power of freedom and the transformative potential of following your true path. Each of the themes explored in the novella, individualism, self-improvement, transcendence, freedom, teaching, and the journey from rejection to acceptance, offers valuable insights into the human experience and the pursuit of a meaningful life. By delving deeply into these themes, Bach provides a rich philosophical framework that inspires readers to reflect on their own lives and the paths they choose to follow. So before I go, I have a quick question for you. I guess technically it's two questions. So first question, have you read Jonathan Livingston Seagull? If you haven't, I cannot recommend strongly enough that you go and read that book. It is phenomenal. It's also really quite short, so it's not going to take up an enormous amount of your time reading it, but I warn you now that reflecting upon it will last a lifetime. So if you haven't read it, go and read it. But if you have read it, I have another question for you. If you have read Jonathan Livingston Seagull, what impact did it have on you as an individual? Did it help you to put your life in perspective in some way? Did it help you to reconnect with your ambition and strive to achieve your full potential? Or, anything else, I would love to know. So jump in the comments and let me know. If you've read Jonathan Livingston Seagull, what impact did it have on you as an individual?